Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Pinewood podcast. And today I will be interviewing one of the Pinewood greats,
Banks Booth.
Anyway, Banks, we've been going through baseball season. We know you like to play baseball. It's really good at it, and football as well. But is there anything specifically that you've seen in this season you haven't seen in any other one? Any other accomplishments or what you think of your team?
We've had some younger guys step up this year because to fill some missing spots we lost from last year. Really proud of the outfield. We have a whole new outfield. They've stepped up big. Me not pitching this year, Ethan stepped up huge in the relieving role, and Nick and Luke have been throwing great. But really just more people stepping up who haven't had meaningful innings, playing well for us and helping us win.
100% agree. You say you haven't been able to pitch. Can you walk us through your injury, tell us how you did it, and what's wrong with you?
So I was going to Peyton Knight in Glenville, just getting some tips on my mechanics and just things that would help me be a better pitcher. And I threw some bullpens and got some tips, and he said that I should start doing weighted ball workouts and high-intensity stuff to help my velocity. And we went through a workout, and the last ball I threw, I just felt like a nagging pain in my elbow. So I didn't say anything this was in November. So I didn't say anything for about a month because I didn't know if it was serious. And went through the all-star football game, played with it. It bothered me. So then as January crept around and baseball started firing up, I told my dad that I had a pain in my elbow. So we went to the doctor, and they told me that I had a partially torn UCL and that we could try rehab, but it most likely wouldn't heal without surgery. So if I wanted to play my senior year, I was just going to have to tough it out and probably no pitching.
Yeah, we all hate it. I mean, one of our starting pitchers that would have been probably our ace this year is just out. But you said you've dealt with injury before, right? How was that like compared to what you're going through now?
It makes you stop and think about how lucky you are to take the field at all, because sophomore year I had the knee injury and was sidelined completely, couldn't play at all. And it really makes you stop and think about how lucky you are. And you think about all the people who would kill to just get them on the field, people who are in a hospital bed or sick. Like, you're really lucky to do what you do. And just because you have an injury doesn't give you the right to sulk and pout. I mean, you should give everything you've got to get back. Even if you're not 100%, you should give 100% to help others out and be a light for somebody else who may be going through the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, you've played ball your whole life since young to now. I mean, you've just always been, would you consider yourself to be like one of the more skilled ones out of everybody that you're going against? I mean, playing with you, I just know that you're probably one of the best ball players I've played with. What would you consider your favorite ball sport memory at all to be?
Definitely getting the opportunity to win a state championship as an 8th grader for sure. Now everybody says like you had to be so nervous, but I mean, when I get in big situations like that, you just have to remember you're playing baseball. Mound's still 60 feet 6 inches from the home plate. You've got 7 guys behind you that want to help you, and I mean, you just can't make the moment bigger than what it is. I mean, will forever be one of my favorite baseball memories, just getting the opportunity to do that as a 14-year-old at a new school. I mean, it was awesome.
Let's talk about football for a minute. I mean, you have broken many of school records, passing yards. Do you have the passing touchdown record too? passing touchdown. I mean, you got it all. And this last season, coming from another football player, it wasn't that great. How was that going from being somewhat successful to having a losing season like that?
It's definitely tough because you set a standard for yourself and for the program, and when you don't meet that standard, it's frustrating. But all the wins aren't going to be on the scoreboard. Coach Watson, he pulled me in one day and just talked to me and was just like, we talked about, we knew this season was going to be a struggle compared to the others, and that we had to just build on what we had and make the most of it. And it's a struggle not being successful, but you've got to make the most of it. And especially being the quarterback, when things go wrong, people are going to look to you. So you have to keep your head high and be encouraging and just make the most of it. Especially, it was being my senior year, and that was my last time ever playing football. So just enjoying it, even though we were losing, there was still really, this year we won two games, and the TJ game we won was one of the funnest games I've ever played in high school. And so things like that, it means a lot more when you are struggling. So
that's right. You just got to cherish everything. All we hear is Banks Booth, the ball player. Banks Booth did this in a sport. Banks Booth did that. What does Banks Booth like to do on his free time? What are some of your hobbies you would consider?
I love hanging out with my friends. Whatever that may be. Going to play golf, just going to hang out at somebody's house, watch TV. Just love being around my friends. Play the video game every now and then, but really just spending time with friends on the weekends is my favorite thing to do.
All right, Banks. Do you have a specific dream in life? Like, is there something you would love to be? Like, any thought on after high school, where you're going to go to college, what you're going to major in, or are you going to play ball? Like, what are your thoughts?
If you were to ask me this 3 or 4 years ago, I would have gave you a definite, I want to play a sport in college, but injuries just haven't played in my favor, so I've had to do a lot of thinking about that. And I would like to be a coach because I've had many influential people in my life mold me into the man I am, the athlete I am. So I'm going to attend Mississippi State in the fall and major in education I'd like to be an offensive coordinator in football and then a baseball coach.
That's good. So far we've had a winning baseball record. We've been just doing really good. You've been a big part of that success. How do you think that will carry over into the postseason?
It's just a next game mentality. The most important game is the next one. You can't look too far ahead. But we've been playing well as a team. It's been all 9 batters this year. It hasn't just been 2 or 3 guys. Everybody's doing their part. And, we just got to keep the ball rolling. We've got 2 pitchers throwing the ball well. Defense is playing great. And, we just got to keep it rolling for the playoffs.
We just had a big 3-game series against Bullock Academy. We won the first 2 games, and then the third one we got beat, which it didn't really matter because it was a best of 3. Supposedly, there was some things said, some feelings hurt the third game, and you got ejected. Would you like to elaborate on that, on what happened?
It was 18-6, I think. Bottom 7. I was the last out. And umpire called a strike 3 calls. It was a little off the plate. We can you can go check the film. It was way outside, and I just told him how much I liked the call. And he just, he didn't care about my opinion, so he threw me out of the ball game. And I unfortunately have to sit out our next game. But I, Probably shouldn't have told him I liked the call, but last time going against BA, so might as well leave it all out there.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I know I was excited after that happened. It got me fired up, and I was ready to go out there and get thrown out too. But yeah, so Pinewood, we don't really see much of that. People getting thrown out, all of that. Would you consider that to be the most upset you've been with a call?
I don't know if it was the most upset I've been with a call, but that's the worst I've ever handled my emotions with a call. I normally try to, keep it inside and not say too much, but I just let it rip that time. I couldn't keep it in.
Was that your first time being ejected?
Yes.
And maybe not too many more to come. Banks, you've played all sports, like we've said. What are your earliest memories of, like, this is a sport you're sticking with, this is what I love doing? Like, what are your earliest memories and accomplishments?
I can remember being 4 or 5 years old, just me and my dad. If it was raining, we were throwing the baseball across the living room. If it was sunny, we were throwing the football, baseball in the yard. My dad played a big part in me, taking up sports. And then, growing up, I was playing whatever was in season. Whatever was in season was my favorite sport when I was younger. But, I had the great Andy Calloway was my PE coach at DEA. He used to, one thing I remember about Coach Calloway is if anybody ever had beef, that you could wrestle during PE on the mats. And Coach Calloway'd referee, keep it clean. But I'd always remember that. That was pretty fun. But, I've always been in sports since I was younger. My dad's played a big part in that. And it's just something I've always loved to do.
Would you consider your dad to be the biggest influence on your life?
Yeah, definitely.
I could too. So you've had a bunch of coaches growing up. I mean, you've been to DEA, Pinewood, playing sports. Who would you consider to be your favorite coach, and what are your thoughts on our current coach right now, Coach Lewis?
My favorite coach I've ever had is Coach Clint Inman. I remember the first football game he was coaching high school at DEA. I was in the 3rd grade, and I went up to him, tapped him on his shorts. I said, "Hey, Coach Inman, I'm Banks. I'm the ball boy." And he's like, "That's good with me." And I would always – my sister was older than me. She was in middle school at the time, probably an 8th grader, 9th grader maybe. So she would always have sports after school, and I would always – Coach Inman would let me stay with the varsity and practice with them. And, at times I could have been, slowing things down, but he never made me feel that way. He always welcomed me. And, he was just – he taught me things bigger than just sports. He taught you things that are going to benefit you in life and make you a better person. And, he really, really cared for you. He had a nickname for everybody. Mine was Banky. But, I mean, he's one of the greatest guys I've ever met. He played a huge part in just who I am today. But Coach Lewis, I love Coach Lewis. He's quiet. Everybody thinks he just doesn't say anything, but I promise he does. He's a great coach, though. I mean, he knows so much about the game. I mean, stuff that he is coaching you about, like, you don't even think about. I mean, he's going to bring something up that you're like, I mean, man, I didn't even think about that. But I mean, he knows so much about the game. He wants you to play as hard as you can go and just make next play mentality, not dwell on things that don't go your way. Since I've been here, we've been to 3 state championships, won one of them. Hopefully win one this year. But Coach Lewis he's a phenomenal coach. gonna enjoy these last few games we've got with him.
Talk about mentality. Baseball is one of the craziest sports in the world to me. I mean, it's majority failure with that little bit of success, and that success is probably one of the best feelings you'll ever feel. But whenever you're failing, how do you cope? Like, do you tell yourself, like, okay, I got to do better, or is it something that you're doing? How do you mentally prepare for that, especially when you've been failing?
It's tough. Baseball, like you said, you're going to fail more than you're going to succeed, but just, you can never get too high or too low. You got to be even keel, and just when you're struggling, you got to go back to the fundamentals. Do the stuff you know. Do the stuff you work on in the cage. Don't try to change too much, because it's a game of failure. You're gonna fail. You just gotta, tough out that stretch, and when things get good, stay even keel. Don't get too high, because things can start going bad again quickly. So be confident in yourself. Don't beat yourself up, and stay with your fundamentals, the things you've learned since you were 10 years old, because baseball's baseball.
Yeah, 100% agree. All right, I think we're running out of time here. Thank you, Banks, for being interviewed. We appreciate it. And we're Pinewood Podcast, and I'll see you next time.